evening, exquisite couples. Ladies and gentlemen, Shichi Bableji, my name. So, first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Mkwena and Mrs. Mkwena, for the opportunity you've granted me. I really do appreciate. I feel a bit tired and a bit weak, but I believe I'll make it. Thank you so much, everybody who's here. They take you serious. You've really done yourself good to be here. I'm quickly gonna share my life journey with my husband before I can start to talk about everything that I'm gonna deliver tonight. I'm married to a handsome husband. Loving, caring, responsible, and reliable. We've been married for 14 years and we're blessed with 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy. So the firstborn is 16, the secondborn is 12, the thirdborn is 8, and the lastborn is 3 years old. So, first of all, the first thing that my husband did with his first salary was to build his parents or his mother and the siblings a house. Why? Because of the background, it wasn't good at all. I was there to support him, not as an obstacle, or not as somebody who's taking away a breadwinner. So, when we get married, we form part of the family, which is our in-laws. We expect them to love and welcome us. But the first question that I'm gonna ask each and every daughter-in-law tonight is to say, do we do the same to them now? Because we really expect them to welcome, love us, to open their hands for us. But do we do the same for our brothers' spouses? I'm gonna share something that is close to my heart, very close to my heart, before I go deeper. When I met my husband, we had nothing at all. When I say nothing, we didn't have a cell phone, no car, no house. We stayed in a very small room, and a rented room for that matter. So, but what kept us together, it was the fact that we love each other and the qualities that we were looking for in each other. So that's what kept our love or our relationship strong. Because there are so many challenges, there are so many waves in marriage. But if you love each other and you truly do love each other, nothing will stand before you or your marriage or your relationship. I'm gonna quickly talk about the challenges that we face as the daughters in love or daughters in law. I have a very good relationship with my mother-in-law, all his siblings. I actually have two mothers-in-law. The first one is the biological mother of my husband. Is the one that my husband built her house before we got married. And then the second one is the lady who took my husband to school. He took care of him. He paid all the varsity fees for him. So I find it in my heart to also have a good relationship with her, because she's practically my mother-in-law. So what I want to say to all the daughters-in-law is that it's very important to make sure that you understand the background of your spouse or of your partner, so that you can go on and proceed with a good relationship that your partner or your spouse have with the family, or whosoever made an impact in your spouse's success or upbringing. The challenges that we face, the first challenge is acceptance. I've already highlighted. Since we want to be accepted and loved, let's do the same to our in-laws, even to our brother spouses. Secondly, live and live. This one is very difficult. It's never easy. Remember, our spouses, they practically grew up with these people. The parents, the siblings, now we expect them to leave the family and live to us. It takes time, it needs patience and perseverance. It can't happen immediately. I call it cutting umbilical cord. When you cut an umbilical cord, it doesn't dry up immediately. It needs you to use lots of things I'm not going to mention, but it doesn't dry up same day. We need to be patient. It will happen, but it doesn't happen automatically. And again, there are some cultures, there are some beliefs that makes it even worse for the process even possible. So living and live, especially if you are married to a baby man, as an example, Oilongore, he's the last born. Okay, I guess you got the point. So let me cut it, because my time is very limited. That's why I'm not gonna stick to my notes or whatever. I just, yeah, I'm just gonna talk from my heart. So, living and clearing, me and my husband were raised his siblings, 3 siblings. We stayed with them in our house. Remember, first of all, we built my mom-in-law a house. Now I'm staying with the 3 siblings in my house, or in our house. It wasn't an easy thing to do, but when I checked, he was the only one who could assist with the studies, with everything. We practically played a role, Yahweh, a mother and a father. And I was very young. The worst part is that the first sibling that we took care of, he was my age, exactly my age. You can ask yourself, Jorge, how did I make it? But because I knew the background, I knew their struggles, and I knew very well that if we don't do it, they're gonna be our burden for the rest of our lives. So we actually kind of put our lives on hold for about 3 years. We took them to school, we paid them the varsity fees. I think it wasn't that difficult because there was one lady or one family that did the same for him. So I think looking at that point, it was difficult, but because I knew the background and I knew that there was a good Samaritan, then I had to do the same. No one pushed me to do it. I did it from the heart. Today, as we speak, they're all successful. They're working, and we're financially off the hook, or we have financial freedom. So, yeah, it's never easy, especially if you live with them in one and the same roof. So, but yeah, it happened. It was difficult because there was a point whereby I could feel Hore, even though they couldn't say it, Hore, Bampochare, these things, Kita. So, but I was there as a woman who understanding the history and the purpose in their lives. So before I wrap up, there are so many things I wanted to say, but because of time, I won't go far. So as married or as daughters-in-law, I'm going to urge each and every one of us to love and respect our mothers-in-law. I know it's not easy, especially if you're not welcomed in the house. So, but let's try and do it. But how are you gonna respect your mother-in-law if you fail to respect and love your own parents and your siblings? Charity begins at home. If you can't cope with your own flesh and blood, you're gonna obviously struggle to love and respect your mom-in-law. The same thing that you do to your parents, you're gonna practically do it to your in-laws. The same way you live with your siblings, there's no way you can do it the other way around with your in-laws. Let's try to love and respect them the same way we want to be respected by our own daughters-in-law in future. I'm gonna quickly ask my husband to come and say something.
Amen. I'm a baby boy, and even my English is a baby fashion, so don't worry about that. I think she managed to cover almost everything. maybe what I must do is to advise the gentleman. I agree, you see, she was more sighted on daughters-in-law. Everything that she shared is 100% correct, but she forgot to mention something that sometimes when you are young in marriage, you don't know everything. And remember, I think it's Dr. Mukwena, you mentioned it, or when you grow up in a family, there are family values, there are family sort of burdens also, and family expectations. So now when I entered in marriage, I had my own definition of what marriage is based on what my father and my mother had, their relationship. And my father died when I was 13. I'm the firstborn boy, but I'm the fifth in the family, from the family of 8. So at the age of 13 in 1993, I think, when my father died, he called me. I spent about a week with him when he was sick. And then he called me and asked me, he actually instructed me to take care of my 7 siblings because I was firstborn boy at the age of 13. So when I went to high school, when I was praying for my family, for my wife before I met her, I was always praying for God to help me to take care of my siblings. And she didn't know about it. So when we met, I had to explain to her, well, hey, you love me, yes, but there is this burden, or there's this. For that time, it was like a vision or a mission that I must accomplish. And I was not asking her. It was not up for discussion, because remember, from the age of 13, that's what was in my head. And you know, she touched on culture. Culturally, though I became a Christian later, but culturally, if your father says something, especially if he's no more, you don't go against that. So I think that is the challenge, and maybe that's what she had to deal with. So yeah, my second brother, or my sibling that stayed with us, he was born in 1982. She was born in 1982, whereas she had to take care of somebody of her age. And then after him, the second brother was born in 1985. There's no difference, about 2 years, 3 years difference. And also, it was not a discussion. I was just driving, go home, pick him after matric. He's here, varsity, apply student loans and all that. It's not up for discussion. And then he went. The last born, that one I couldn't compromise. It's a girl. She was born in 1986. And you know, 86, 82, a girl. So that was even worse, because she was somehow spoiled. I think that's the one that sort of showed her already, this is my brother's house. I remember, and I'm going to sit down, I remember one night they fought. I don't know what they fought about. It was around 12 o'clock. And then she came crying, my little sister. I was so angry with her. Remember, in my mind, my father said, I must take care of them. I was so angry with her. We got into the car. I drove, I think, around 160 per hour and all that, from Polokwane to Begersford. For those that know, Begersford is right in the border between Mpumalanga and Limpopo. So taking my little sister home to tell my mother that they fought, and I don't understand why she sort of chased her out of our house. So I did that, and I think it was, all of these things happened when we were less than 5 years in marriage, probably between 1 and 5 years, because my siblings come after each other. It's like 82, 85, 86. And then my mother, I think what kept our relationship, and I'll be honest with you, by the grace of God, my mother loved her, and she can confirm that. My mother, from all mother-in-laws, my brother's wives and all that, she's the favorite. And even when I wanted to cause that friction between them, my mother just looked at us and said, it's okay. Then I dropped my little sister, drove back to Polokwane. So that's how life was between us. But I think about 5 years, 6 years after that, she just couldn't take it anymore. I thought I can tame her, and I thought I knew her, but I saw a different person. And I looked at the situation, I can see her, here I'm going to lose her, I'm going to lose my family, and then remain with my own family. Then I had to draw the line. But it took about 6 years to 7 years for me to sort of mature in marriage as a man. And when I reflect, I think there are so many things that I should have done better. But again, I mean, when I entered in marriage, I was 24, I think.
25.
Yeah, 25, and she was 23, around there. And I was my girlfriend before, and I was my boyfriend. So we didn't know anything about the relationships. So I was always looking at the model of my father and my mother, which was not so nice anyway. And I think she was also looking at the model of her father and mother, which was far much better. But by the grace of God, we managed. So all I'm trying to say is that these things takes time. If you want a successful marriage, I'm telling you, it's like you plant a seed. You can't expect to harvest tomorrow. You will need to water that particular plant. Prune it. Sometimes when you prune it in allergy ponds, it will flower. So it takes time. Now we are in 14 years. No, I mean 14 years plus 3 years. So we are just cruising. We are not saying we are not experiencing challenges. But those challenges, we just walk them over because we are together. And I made it clear, I called actually family meeting. I told my siblings, well, from today, that was 6 years because I wanted to impress them, so I'm on your side. From today, my responsibility is my mother only. If you phone me, it must be about my mother. You guys, that was the day that I liberated my family from my siblings. That was 6 years back. Even now, I mean, we are here. My sisters are around. One is in Mamelodi, the other one is at Woodmead, the other one was in Springs. They don't just visit. They have to talk to her. So, guys, you must awake. Your family can destroy your relationship. Your family can destroy your marriage. So you need to choose between your family as your family and your wife, or that other family where you grew up. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. But before I can sit, I would like to say, if you want to succeed in your marriage, you really have to draw a line. Both our parents and our siblings are equally welcomed in our home, but with some boundaries and restrictions. Thank you very much.